Hello, my name is Mike Gilbert and I'm standing for the parliamentary constituency seat of Boston and Skegness. But to properly distinguish me from other candidates, the name Blue Revolution will appear next to my name on the ballot paper. You may ask why I'm standing. Well, I'm the only candidate who wants to change the political system. The Tories won't change it, Labour won't change it, the Lib Dems won't change it. Even the Reform Party still wants to operate in the same broken system that serves the few and not the many. They are all part of the problem, not the solution. It's blatantly obvious that public services are failing and that we are subject to huge cultural change which no party either fully understands and therefore can't explain. I'll discuss this in more detail in this video, which I'm calling my personal political statement. If you like what you hear, please think about voting for me, maybe if only as the none of the above candidate. Firstly, politics and the political system no longer works in the interests of ordinary people. In the early 2000s, the then so-called New Labour government under Tony Blair began to redesign public services along the lines of a private business. Serving the public became a lesser priority than hitting targets. The idea was to make public services sellable to private corporations by introducing what was known as private sector discipline into these organisations. The consequence of this catastrophic policy decision was the promotion of management at the expense of the workers, lower wage costs at the expense of experience, and identity politics at the expense of common sense. Now we see and experience the consequences of this policy in our secondary schools, hospitals, police forces and prisons, council and public-facing government departments such as the Job Centre or Child Support Agency. In places like Boston and Skegness, the nature of our community has changed dramatically over the last 20 years. Again, a deliberate pro-big business policy by the social engineers of New Labour. Migrant workers provide plentiful amounts of cheap and flexible labour. And renting within town centres, they artificially inflate house price values at levels that satisfy the banks and investors, but lock out of home ownership too many millennials and almost everyone from Gen Z. To avoid being honest about this, all political parties claim the problem is caused by not building enough housing. They think this gives them permission to build on our farmland and our greenbelt. The consequence of having a full-time working population replaced by low-skilled, low-waged workers is the decline of our once affluent town centres. It's not just about the internet, it's about migration being used to lower wages and raise property prices to ensure that the people who really matter, the corporations and the banks, get what they want rather than what we want, which is good wages and affordable lifestyle free of too much debt. And finally, my explanation about why what I have described has happened. See if you agree with me. Our political system, comprising a parliament complete with feuding political parties, was set up after the English Civil War. The idea was simple: shouting at each other was better than violent uprisings. And so it proved to be until about the mid-20th century, when the world began to outpace our British political system. Like analogue giving way to digital, our political system still has an 18th century operating system, now comprised of our out-of-touch career politicians, shouting at each other in a parliamentary chamber designed to foster argument rather than collaboration. Punch and Judy politics is a joke that is being played on us. In a complex, globalised and uncertain world, this model, wherever we see it, is failing, and it needs to be changed from the top to bottom to make it properly accountable to the people. So we need a peaceful, political and democratic revolution. We must end the period of us being accountable to them. In short, we don't need a new driver, we need a new bus. So, if you're interested in anything I've said, or you'd like to sort of follow up some of the ideas I've got and decide whether you agree with them or not, you can go to the Blue Revolution website. You can find this at www.abluerevolution.org. Thank you for watching.